grafts get harvested. Matter of fact, I got a transplant. That's what we have. Most of my doctors so that's pretty cool. And I didn't even tell the first guy, oh yeah, about 70% right now. The Boston. Did you know that your developer, I was waiting to get this information from my son. About your design architect, but they've never brought a project in this size. I'm waiting to get that. Oh, well, it's tight.
Okay, I was wondering.
Yeah, thank you.
Good evening and welcome to the City Council meeting for Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025. We have a full house here tonight. We probably have some folks leave here pretty soon after our initial presentation, so hang tight. We might open up some seats or not. Y'all are welcome to stay. But we will begin with a roll call and determination of quorum.
Lehman. Maher. Roberts. Stroman. Pettigrew. Seacrest. Bieberdorf. Tamang. Evans. Meyer. We have a quorum.
Thanks. Next, we will have an invocation by Scott Wiley, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. If you are able and willing, would you please rise?
Let's pray. We thank you, Lord God, for this evening and these proceedings. And we thank you, Father, for this community that we are privileged to live in. We thank you for the beautiful Black Hills. We thank you for those who lead and make decisions and listen and coordinate. We thank you for those who serve. We thank you for every citizen, Lord, who is invested and engaged. And we pray that your Spirit will be upon us. We pray, Father, that there will be peace and unity and that you will be honored in all things. We pray it in Christ's name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda. Motion by Lehman, second by Evans to adopt. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we were going to have a time for awards and recognition, and we are going to recognize the Black Hills Rapids U19 girls soccer team for winning the National Premier League National Finals Championship in July. And so I'll come around here to the front. Yeah, we'll do that. Council, you're more than welcome to join us up here as well, but we're going to invite the team to come on up. How's this feel? Weird. Feeling weird? Well, it feels pretty awesome for us. One of the great things is we have such a vibrant sports scene here in Rapid City, and really one of the best and most productive outlets for kids are going to be athletics. In addition, we have artists and musicians, and they're awesome as well. But whenever we see outstanding achievement, it is good to recognize that today. And ladies, you have served us well and made us very proud. So I got a few things to share with you about this group. The Black Hills Rapids Soccer Club brought home a national title to Rapid City in July, which is cool. The Rapids U19 girls team was crowned national champions at the 2025 National Premier League's finals held in Denver, Colorado. The NPL Finals is considered one of the most prestigious national youth soccer competitions in the United States. The NPL has 18 leagues around the country with almost 700 soccer clubs competing. Hopefully you read better than I do. The tournament featured the winner of each of these leagues competing for the NPL Finals Championship, with the Black Hills Rapids U19 girls team coming out on top. The NPL was also featured the Black Hills Rapids U13 girls team, which took second in the nation. Awesome, way to go. We're also very proud of them. Yep. Here's what's cool about Rapid City. No other club in the nation had two teams competing in the championship games, but Rapid City, South Dakota did. How about that? The girls squad won all group stage, semifinal, and final matchups to collect the coveted title. But the Black Hills Rapids Soccer Club formed in 2014, the result of the merger between the Rapid City Youth Soccer League and the Rushmore Soccer Club, and was developed in partnership with the Colorado Rapids of Major League Soccer. The national title serves as an inspiration to other Rapids teams and soccer athletes in the community in the area that you not only think big here in Rapid City, you win big as well. And this is a pretty cool anecdote somebody shared that was shared with me. And I hope it's okay I share this, Dave. The title was made all the more special because the team's coach, Dave Sharp, was hospitalized during the tournament after suffering a heart issue. Despite the seriousness of the illness, Coach Sharp, who has guided the club, high school, and Rapids team for many years, and I can personally tell you he's advocated for soccer here in Rapid City. But he made his hospital stay a quick one and returned to the sidelines to provide coaching support and help guide the team to the title. Dude, awesome. Here shortly, I'm going to present a challenge coin to each one of these folks, but I do want to provide an opportunity for Coach Sharp to share any words, and if, of course, any of the athletes want to do as well, you're more than welcome to. Coach?
Well, thank you for that amazing introduction. I think it's just a true testament to the hard work, commitment, and just the massive sacrifices these girls have made over the years. I mean, it's been a lifelong journey for these kids, and you're going to find the hardest working girls. It's going to translate to everything they do in life. You just have an amazing group here. It was a pretty special week in Denver for sure. And yeah, I had a heart attack and had a couple of stents put in, that's all. But yeah, the girls, with them, you can just sit and watch them play and enjoy the game. They're amazing. So thank you guys for everything. Thank you for your support. You've always, I remember you came out to the complex years ago and in support of the Rapids, so I appreciate that. And yeah, that's it.
This is your moment.
You always wanted to.
Do it. All right.
I just wanted to say, like, our team worked very, very hard this season, and we had a lot of ups and downs just with girls not seeing it, and these set of girls made it through, and we got the gold, so we're very proud of ourselves.
Anybody else want to go? I mean, she broke the ice. This is your time to shine again. I hope you ladies cherish these moments. This is a special season in your life. Obviously, winning a national championship is pretty good, but you obviously have to bond and become a team in order to make that happen. And so on behalf of Rapid City, we're awfully proud of you. Keep up the good work. Be great athletes. Be better people. You are the future leaders, and we hope that we continue to create a community where you can thrive in. So I'm going to give each of you a challenge coin in recognition for your awesome achievements. And Coach, we're going to start with you. Now, here's a tradition. Here's what I want to tell you if you don't know about challenge coins. It's a military tradition. So you receive it with a handshake. So I'm going to give you a handshake. We're going to, you're going to capture it, but I put a little plastic wrap on it. You're all right. Cool? More. All right, one more round of applause. Thank you, team. So next, I'm told we have to take a picture. So you cool with that? All right, we'll do that. We'll get all this out of the way. Okay, next we will have general public comment. This is a time for members of the public to express their concern, issues to the council on any issue not on the agenda. Action will not be taken at the meeting on any issue not on the agenda except by placement on the agenda by unanimous vote of the council members present. We have a lot of folks here for item on the agenda. That will be for later, but we do have a handful of speaker request forms for the general public comment. And we will begin with John Wilson, followed by Carol Merwin. And as a reminder, you have 3 minutes for your public comment. You'll see a countdown timer right above us here with a 30-second warning that your time's almost up. Sir, the floor is yours.
Hi, good evening. My name is John Wilson. I live up in Auburn Hills, and I've come here to ask questions on 2 topics. One is infrastructure. I don't know how many of you have been on Auburn Drive lately, but it's a mess. It was poorly constructed to begin with, and it's sinking. And driveways are cracking, they're sinking. It's a main road in and out. And Midco even lost their cable up there because the road sank on it and broke it. And I haven't any idea where we stand with the city on coming up there and trying to make right what is wrong. But it's a nasty topic. Along with infrastructure, I'm concerned that up in our area, we have no food stores. We don't have any drugstores. We don't have anything to support our normal daily way of life. And every time I make an inquiry on it, I keep hearing, well, we're at the very end of supply chain. We can't get any of the stores interested in coming up here and supporting more food stores, quality, competitive food stores. And I'm sitting here thinking, if we're not going to get any more food stores, but the way we're growing, how in the world are we going to take care of the needs of the people in getting their daily groceries? It doesn't make sense, guys. So that brings me to the next point, and that is land use. I keep hearing, well, we're at the very end of distribution. We can't get people interested, the stores that use Denver as a distribution hub, to come up here to Rapid City. We're 5 hours from everywhere, on and on and on. And I'm saying to myself, well, that's crazy. Why haven't we seized the initiative as Rapid City? Why aren't we a distribution hub? We've got an airport, we've got an interstate, and we've got a railroad. And we ought to be able to become the distribution center for every place around here. Why aren't the other people saying, well, we're only 5 hours from Rapid City for getting our groceries. We're only 5 hours from Rapid City for getting this and for getting that. Which brings me to land use. And that is, why in the world are we building an amusement park on land that we could be building an industrial park or a big distribution center that's going to benefit all of us? Because I'll tell you, I need to go to the store a lot more times than I have to go to an amusement park. And that's the way you want to generate, I would think, long-term income for the city, is to have that kind of infrastructure and that kind of land use instead of catering to tourists that I keep hearing.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Next up, Carol Merwin, followed by Tyler Stoser-Calkins. Ma'am?
More people buying more stuff is not sustainable. And I think it's important for us to think about the future and our land and leave it open for nature. We have to think about the future. If we're thinking vision, think about the young people and those who aren't even born yet, and the earth.
Thank you, ma'am. And Tyler, you're up next, sir.
You know, the first speaker, he had a very solid point. You guys' amusement park, you got to think about the consequences of what that's going to do to the community. Look at the fair. What's that going to do to the fair when the fair comes around? Is people going to be wanting to go to the fair because they've been at an amusement park the rest of the months of the year? You know, and then you got your tax hike. You guys gave yourself a raise, and then you're wanting to increase taxes some more. I heard at the last city meeting and throughout the town, you guys just keep wanting to keep raising taxes when the people need help. And it's not tax for more amusement parks or unneeded things. And you look at the Civic Center, the monument now. Is that great revenue income coming in? I don't think so. You got to give it a tax break. I think you guys need to think about what you're doing with the taxpayers' money and quit thinking about the constituents. Thank you.
Thank you. That is all the general public comments that I have, so we will close general public comment and move on to non-public hearing items 2 through 26 and open public comment for items 2 through 13. I have no speaker request forms for those items, so we will move on to consent items 2 through 13. Would the council like to remove any items for separate consideration or approve the ballots? Okay, you got a motion by Maher and a second by Tamang to approve items 2 through 13. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. That takes us to the end of the consent items, and we will move on to non-consent items 4 through 26 and open public comment for items 14 through 26. I do have quite a few speaker request forms. So just as I kind of noted in the general public comment, I'll say a name and I'll let the person know who's on deck, and if you could be ready so that we can move through these. And we will begin with James Bialotta for items 21, 22, and 23.
Well, thank you, Mayor Solomon. You did something right. You let me go first so the people can hear what I'm about to say. This council used to have a conflict of interest report where they would tell you if they got money from the parties at hand. They have not done so. I pulled their campaign finance reports. These guys have had their hand in the cookie jar. The powers that be that are pushing these TIFs have paid for these people's campaigns. And you, each and one of you, failed to disclose it, you dirty, dirty guys and gals. I can't believe it. Where is your conflict of interest disclosure that you took money from these people? Here you are shoving down a maximum 2.9% property tax increase so you can spend our money on the people that paid to get you elected. How dare you? You make me sick. I hope each and every one of these people here remembers and looks at your names and prays and pays for any other candidate except you to ever run again for shoving this down. And Mr. Tamang, thank you for sticking up for the people. I don't know a lot about you, but what I've seen lately, I'm happy about. The rest of you should be disgusted. And I will use every inch of my time to make sure you know that we're disgusted with you. A 2.9% property tax increase on the little bit of property tax revenue you get, while Josh Biebendorf was at the fair saying, we don't take any property taxes. In his own committee, they're putting up 2.9% increase. How dare you? You think we're stupid? Do you think we can't read anymore? You know we can show up. Look at this full house. What do you guys think you're doing? Do you need the Department of Justice in here rotor-rootering through your bank accounts to see how many other things you've gotten money for? Just today I learned that Wavy kicked into Jason Solomon's. Doesn't Wavy get money from the city? That's interesting. And I'm looking at the Attorney General. You're jumping all over that money. The Attorney General is running for election. How many of those NGOs kick back to your campaigns? How many? I'm betting all of them. And the people want to know, and instead of hiding in those campaign contributions in PACs, we're going to find it out. We're going to have insiders go into these organizations and declare who they spent the money for, and we're going to find out. You're warned. You're on deck. Don't steal any more of the taxpayers' money. Thank you very much.
And next up, Jordan Mason, followed by Taffy Howard.
Mayor, members of the council, thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Jordan Mason. I'm a business owner and a former city council member of Ward 4. I come before you tonight to support Liberty Land, much to the shock of many people in this room. Friends, I want to be clear where I stand. I am a conservative. I've helped elect many of the legislators now opposing this project. I supported them because I believe in limited government, not in limiting individuals, businesses, or private property rights. I believe private citizens, not the government, drive growth and opportunity. That's why I think the opposition here is missing the mark. Let's set the record straight. This isn't a, quote, $125 million tax giveaway. There isn't even $125 million to give away right now. The land's taxable base valuation is just $8 million. So generating roughly about $100,000 in taxes a year currently. The $125 million figure is simply the cap on how much future growth might be reinvested if the project succeeds. So if it fails, no new tax revenue is created and nothing is paid out. Existing taxes to schools and counties, in this particular instance under South Dakota codified law, continues untouched. And may I remind my conservative friends, it isn't the government's job to hire employees for private businesses. That's the job of the business owner. That's why we have constitutional protections against government intrusion in the free market. Criticizing a project on the basis of who will fit its jobs misunderstands both the role of government and private enterprise. This country was founded on the idea of creating a government for the people, not for the people to be there for the government to use. Now, I want to get down to the bottom line. Being angry at the developer for doing the city's job is misplaced. Tax increment financing isn't a subsidy. It's a limited government tool established by state law, passed by the very institutions many of the legislators that are opposing this in this room represent. If they want to change the rules, they can do so at the Capitol, where it's appropriate to do so. But as it stands, this is the only tool Rapid City has. The city cannot levy broad impact fees or use other financing methods without a change in state law. So in practice, a TIF shifts the burden of building and financing public infrastructure like water, sewer, and roads from the city onto the back of a private developer instead of requiring the city to meet its own legal obligations to provide those basic services. Now, here's the truth. This isn't a developer giveaway. It's the only financing mechanism authorized by state law for the city to meet its legal obligation when it lacks bonding capacity or revenue for public infrastructure. And it's the developer who steps up, takes the risk, and gets the job done. So let's think bigger picture just for a second. If we kill the project at the 11th hour, we don't just hurt one development. We send a message to every business to stay away because in Rapid City, it's unpredictable and it will change the rules when politics change. This is not conservative governance, it's not pro-growth, and it's not pro-business.
Time's
I
up.
encourage you to pass it. Thank you.
Taffy Howard, followed by Alan Solano.
Thank you, Mayor, council members. There's a lot that I would argue with the previous speaker. He had one thing right. Government is supposed to be for the people, not for the wealthy developers. Several issues with Liberty Land and Catalyst. You know you have 18 currently active TIFs. The average amount of those TIFs is $12.6 million. Only 4 of those TIFs have any discretionary funds, mostly just a few million. Liberty Land has $47 million in discretionary funds. And just to make sure everyone understands that, that's not for capital costs, which is the normal use of a TIF. $47 million in discretionary costs that can be used for anything short of a residential structure. We're talking rides, shops, fancy lighting, you name it. Taxpayers will be subsidizing a private development. And I'd just like to know, have you asked everybody in the TIF district, are they okay with this? You know, really, it's their increase in property taxes that will be going right back into the pocket of the developer. Really, maybe the city should be getting a cut of this, you know? Maybe we should be getting a slice of the profit. I'd also like to address the lack of transparency, the disrespect that I've seen from this council throughout this process. There was a councilman that walked out of a meeting just as public testimony was starting on this subject. We've had a councilwoman who essentially, she has concerns about a certain demographic. And it was very clear what that certain demographic was. And it was pretty clear that she didn't think these people should show up or have a say. And I just want to make it clear that that certain demographic are the people that have been paying taxes, raising families, creating businesses without taxpayer subsidies, and defending this country for longer than she's been alive. And the fact that there are comments that you can't refer this because it would have a low turnout and the result would be illegitimate. I just want to remind everybody the most recent municipal election was barely over 10%, and some people won by barely half of that. You know, I'm a big fan of President Reagan. People have heard me use his quotes before. Man is not free unless government is limited. I wish you guys would take this to heart. Because if you support these TIFs, you cannot say that you are a fiscal conservative. You cannot say that you believe in limited government. Reagan also said, if more government is the answer, then it was a really stupid question. And you guys are going down the road of answering every question with more government involvement. Somebody referred to, well, I'm going to run out of time, but I wish you guys would truly listen to, as Governor Janklow used to say, the people in the bleachers. I have been listening to them. Like the gal at McDonald's the other day said, why are they trying to turn us into a big city? People come here because we're not a big city. You're literally destroying our city.
Thank you, ma'am. Alan Solano, followed by Sam Brannon. Please hold your applause.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Alan Solano, lifelong Rapid City resident, raised my 5 children with my wife in Rapid City, and we're on to our 6 grandchildren. It was said earlier that, a TIF is just one of the very limited tools that a city has to move forward on important projects for the city. And I look at the TIFs that are being considered tonight, and these do move us forward as a city. You all have already approved this. Nothing really has changed in the TIF. Some clerical errors need to be corrected. So it really should continue. When I think about a good TIF, and I see numbers like $4 to $8 million in additional sales tax revenue, to me, economic development TIFs are a great way to go. If we want to encourage grocers, if we want to encourage restaurants, those types of businesses to come to our community, let's use the tools that we have in our toolbox. And part of that is the incentives that we can do through TIFs. I think you'll hear tonight about, Pennington County being an overuser, or Rapid City being an overuser of TIFs. And if that's the case, then we also would have to call out Lawrence County, Meade County, Davidson County, Brown County, Lincoln County, Minnehaha County, Davison, all of them. The difference is these are the communities that are growing, and they're using the tools that they have available to them, and we should be doing the same. I would encourage you to support the TIFs tonight, move them on so we can see the economic development. I'll end with this. One of the things you'll probably notice tonight are the people coming up to talk all have color of hair like I do. A lot of us folks that have been here or are gray hair. Now, who are we not hearing from? The youth. And I think of that soccer team that was here tonight. All 5 of my kids were heavily involved in sports. I can't tell you the number of miles that we had to travel and the money I spent, the sales taxes I gave to other communities just so I could give opportunities for my children. Let's not let this opportunity slip away. Again, I encourage you to support the TIFs. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Sam Brannon, followed by Tonchi Weaver.
Thank you for having me. I'm Sam Brannon. I'm the daughter of Chuck Lean. I have 3 of my 8 siblings here tonight. And let me tell you how this story started for everybody in this room that absolutely hates us right now. This was a beautiful dream by Chuck Lean, who died 7 years ago. He got 3 projects that he wasn't able to finish. And on his deathbed, literally, this was one of his projects that he said, Sam, please get this done. All he wanted to do was do something great for Western South Dakota. He'd be rolling over in his grave to think that half of the people in this community, or 1/3 of this community, or 1/10 of the community were upset by this. He really did see something big. He did not see a theme park. Let me be clear. When we opened our canvas to Storyland Studios in California, we said, blank canvas, we want to do something big for Western South Dakota. What should that be? They spent 2 years canvassing this community, talking to individuals, going to the reservation, talking to different people and saying, what does your community mean to you and what's your culture? And they built this themed attraction, not a theme park, a themed attraction area that will bring both benefits to the locals and benefits to tourism. I know we can sit there since 1950 and his partners held this for hay and for grazing. We can continue to do that for a long, long time, and you can enjoy our $5,000 a year in taxes. I'm okay with that. Arlene family is okay with that. What we heard from the city staff and city council in the past is, please don't let that get sold by death by 1,000 cuts. I can tell you one of those staffers is still sitting here. And so we went to work to do a plan for this city, for Western South Dakota. My dad was a patriot. He was a World War II Korean War vet. My grandpa was a patriot, a World War I vet. And all they wanted to do was give something back to this community. So please, say yes to 21 and 22. Please say yes to the city sports complex, because we do have a really good plan that we've been working for 7 years that many people in this audience Don't fool yourselves. Many of the people in the audience have this vision, and I know many of you people have the vision because you've already voted for it many times. So thank you for doing that. I'm sorry people are criticizing you because of me.
Next, please hold the applause. Next, Tanchi Weaver, followed by D'Amico Rodriguez.
Okay, I see both sides are out tonight. I want to remind everyone here that there is this thing called the consent of the governed. When our forefathers founded our country and our state, because South Dakota is a republic, they put in Article 3 in the South Dakota Constitution that the power to govern is vested in a legislature and other subgroups of government, such as a city council. We have a representative government, but the people reserve to themselves the right of referendum and initiative. And because the people want to be asked about whether or not they want something to happen in their community, an action by this body can be referred. It is not disrespect to the deceased. It is not a personal dislike for anyone or anything. It is simply the right of the people. Now, I have no doubt that you're going to pass these items tonight, and we've brought our referendum starter kit. We will be referring Liberty Land, and again, it is not personal. It is simply the fact that I'm one of those in the detestable demographic that have seen this play before, and we know how it ends, or how it can end. And we believe that because it is such a monumental amount of money and such a huge possibility of changing the culture of our city, we believe that the people that should be asked are the people who put you in your seats. So whether it's 2% or 20% or more, the future belongs to those who show up. And people are showing up because they do care. And people in my age group who are maybe, I mean, I know there are people on the council in their 30s. Well, I've been 30 before, more than once. And I think it's important to realize that with age comes some experience and some vision as well. We have vision too. Our vision is that we would maintain the culture of our city, that we would be able to keep our taxes at a rate where we can afford to stay in our homes. We have lived here for a long time. I came here from California. In California, if you make a dime, they'll get a quarter out of you. So we don't want to become California. And that's what this is all about. It isn't personal. Thank you.
Next up, D'Amico Rodriguez, followed by Ali Fermonic.
Well, thank you, council members and mayor, for your time over the past 2 years to get to this vote today. Thank you as well to the Lean family for their generous donation of the land for this complex. Lastly, thank you to Black Hills Energy for being a great partner, allowing our project to even be considered as part of this community investment. I'm here to speak in favor of the Catalyst and Destination District TIFs. The synergy of these projects could be transformational for this community. I also understand that property tax reform and school issues need to be addressed, but there are different pots of money and there are separate issues. I've talked to several developers, and TIFs are the only tool the state of South Dakota has in our tool belts to help developers partner on strategic development. Other states have star bonds, sales tax, and revenue bonds, or other options like that. I would ask legislators that are watching or listening to help communities at the legislative level, if you feel TIFs aren't the right option, help us out. The sales tax revenue from these two projects will be a huge help to the city's budget and would no doubt help generate additional revenue for the schools and city's general fund. There are a lot of questions about how this complex is going to get paid for, and this is the perfect example of a public-private partnership. The city hotels have voluntarily implemented another occupancy tax to help pay for the complex as well as the ongoing maintenance to ensure residents of Rapid City don't pay for this project. The visitors will pay. This is how other communities build these. We've asked the community for community's input on what we need in this space, and we were hoping for about 600 responses total. And as of today, we had 900 responses, and 74% of them say Rapid City needs a project like this. The survey closes on September 14th if you would like to participate. I stand in front of you to ask for your support with these projects. Please consider removing political agendas or biases for this decision and invest in the future of our community. We don't get opportunities like this to leave a legacy in our community, and we are here. It is our time to invest in the community and invest in our kids. The people that will be coming into town and visit these two projects will spend money, create jobs, and pay sales tax, especially in the winter months. I've sat in several of these meetings over the past 2 years working on this project behind the scenes. The people of this community tell us to stop trying to be Sioux Falls. My buddy runs the Sioux Falls Sports Authority, and he and his family vacation in the hills regularly. We are not trying to be Sioux Falls. We're trying to be the best damn Rapid City that we can be.
Thank you, Mr.
This is our chance.
Next, Ali Fermonic, followed by Jacob Bradford.
Good evening. The visitor industry has long been one of Rapid City's strongest economic engines. In 2024, nearly 3.9 million visitors came into our community, spending over $504 million. That's an average of 1.4 million flowing into our local economy every single day. This spending sustains more than 7,600 jobs, 1 out of every 10 in Rapid City, and eases the burden on residents by reducing household taxes by almost $1,700 each year. Across the country, youth sports are emerging as a powerful force in tourism. Families will travel across states and even regions to attend tournaments, filling our hotels, dining in restaurants, and exploring those communities. And what's remarkable is that youth sports tourism continues to thrive even during national economic downturns. Parents don't cut out travel for their kids' competitions, they make it a priority. That resiliency makes youth sports one of the most reliable tourism drivers for communities like ours. An indoor sports complex positions Rapid City to capture this momentum. It would extend our tourism season into the winter months, attract year-round events and tournaments, and amplify the impact of tourism dollars on our community. And the proximity of Liberty Land makes this opportunity even stronger. Together, the sports complex and Liberty Land could encourage visitors not just to come, but to stay longer, spend more, and experience more of what Rapid City has to offer. I encourage your support this evening with the creation of the TIF districts and the approval of the project plans to make both of these projects a reality. Thank you.
Thank you. Jacob Bradford, followed by, Lisa, I'm going to mispronounce your last name. I want you to tell me how to pronounce it correctly. Jacob, I have 2 speaker request forms for the same item, so I'm going to, you got 3 minutes, sir, for both of those.
Sounds good. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for letting me speak. I'm here to speak against the TIFs for the destination and the catalyst TIFs. I'm hearing a lot about tourism dollars in Rapid City. I'm a young man, but I've been around, and I would just like to encourage folks to think outside the box and move away from tourism dollars. The economy ebbs and flows, so do those tourism dollars, and the more cities like Rapid City or areas like the Black Hills rely on those tourism dollars, the more desperate we get to keep drawing in people in, coming up with new gimmicks to invite out-of-staters, folks from different parts of South Dakota, to spend their money here. I would encourage folks to think outside the box. Let's look at bringing in more a healthcare center or a campus. You know, my girlfriend recently had to have a growth removed from her abdomen. We had to drive all the way to Rochester, Minnesota, just to have that operation. They couldn't do it here in Rapid City. You know, it's kind of ridiculous. We got to drive 8 hours to have an operation. let's think agriculturally. You know, we could have a major stockyard with the distribution system we have here with the highway and the rail cars. The gentleman that spoke quite a while ago talked about just distribution center for grocers, food items and whatnot. Let's look more long term, and let's look at more viable options to obtain those dollars to help Rapid City grow on a more stronger foundation than just a shaky one with tourism dollars. You know, I think people here, some people rely on the tourism dollars, but I think we have enough, you know, tourism flowing through here with the rally and with just the people camping in the hills. And I read an article that all this was generated by, well, not all of it, but there's a large voice from the hotel owners. You know, if we want more people to stay in hotels in Rapid City, why don't we look at implementing something like Montana did with the property taxes, where we shift the property tax burden onto owners of 2 or more homes instead of people that are, instead of just it relying on the single home owners. So that way, you know, we get rid of the Airbnbs and the Verbos, and so people have to stay in hotels. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. Lisa P. And Lisa, I'll have you pronounce your last name, followed by Tom Johnson.
It's Piszczowski.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Didn't know I was going to speak tonight, but I am very passionate about the subject. I am strongly against these 2 TIFs, 21 and 22. I live North Rapid where it's going to be built. Our roads are in horrible condition. Every year I call to ask them to fix the roads in our neighborhood, and the response is always, we don't have the money. And then I see this. Now, granted, you're not going to give them $125 million right off the bat, but if you have the capability of even easing some of their cost, why can't we get our roads fixed? And to Pete Lean, I think it's a wonderful, if you want to go build a theme park, go for it. And you say it's not a theme park, but I've looked at the site. It is a theme park. And it has, I mean, a sports complex and all of that. But people come to the Black Hills because of the outdoor recreation. They don't come here for theme parks. And then what does it do to the other businesses in town? We have a very low unemployment rate, a 1.9%. And it's been told to me that some people have said, well, we'll just pay the people at this event center more money. Well, then you take away from the other businesses because they'll lose employees. So I guess I'm just trying to understand the philosophy behind this on why the government, the city government, has to support this in regards to the TIF. I want to say thank you to Rod Pettigrew and to Stephen Taman. I don't know if I'm saying your last name right, but you voted no, and I appreciate that because I think you're looking out for the citizens of the city. I live in Ward 4, and our property taxes will probably go up. Don't know if you're aware of this, but there's a lot of retired people in that area, and their property taxes have already gone up quite a bit in the last 3 or 4 years. And I even called the assessment office and said, you're going to tax these people out of their homes. I have knocked on doors for various reasons, and I've seen these people, and they are living probably by Social Security checks alone. And by you doing this and possibly increasing taxes to pay for it, we're going to have a bad homeless problem. And just so think about that. Think about your citizens that you're representing. That's all I ask you to do. This, to me, is a boondoggle, and I don't agree with it. Thank you very much.
Next up, Tom Johnson, followed by Lana Sekos.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. Tom Johnson, I'm with Elevate Rapid City. I'm the CEO and president. I just want to say a couple things and speak in favor of both of these TIFs. First, this is not a boondoggle, nor is it a tourism project. About 3 years ago, I reached out to, like I do, several national retailers who are publicly traded, and I said, hey, why don't you come to Rapid City? One of those was an IMAX theater at the time. So I spoke to the CEO of one of the companies, And he said, yeah, I've been looking at Rapid City. Can you help me find a site? So we spent the next 24 months trying to find a site. Nothing would work because we couldn't figure out how to pay for the infrastructure. So TIFs came up. He learned about the TIFs at that time. He said, if you could figure out a way to pay for the infrastructure, I might be able to bring an IMAX to Rapid City. So we put them in contact with this project, knowing that it was going to be coming before you for a TIF. Lo and behold, you saw the press release the other day, announcement of an IMAX theater. That is not for tourists, that's for residents. There was earlier a comment from a gentleman who said, hey, why don't you bring more grocery stores to Rapid City? I'm glad he said that. I'm working with several of you on council as we speak with several grocery stores. I can think of 7 chains right now that we've been in contact with in the last 5 years. The first one that I reached out to about 6 years ago when I got here was Costco, and they said, hey, your incomes are too low. You're going to have to grow some more as a community and have those incomes rise before us to consider putting a Costco. So we've been doing that, and we're getting closer and closer. The other grocery stores, and many of these names, whether they're Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, I reached out to all of them, had conversations with most of them. The conversations usually go like this: hey, your incomes need to rise, but we also notice that you don't have any ability to pay for the infrastructure that's required for us to build a 70,000 square foot grocery store. That's a company I had a conversation with just last week about this. These TIFs allow for us to pay for the infrastructure for these food stores that everybody wants. So it is not a boondoggle, nor is it something that's just for tourists. I reach out to manufacturers. We're working on a gun company, a gun manufacturer from Colorado that's wanting to come here. What do they want? A TIF. I'm working with some software development companies out of Nebraska. What do they need? A TIF. Every company we try to recruit that's not retail, that's not tourist, they need infrastructure too. We don't have it. When I was running the governor's office of economic development in Wyoming, we laughed at South Dakota because we had so much money that we could put into infrastructure, and y'all couldn't do it. The only tool you have to do economic development, to build infrastructure as it grows, is TIFs. And if you decide to take that away, then you really will have bad homes, you really will have bad infrastructure, and you really will start to lose people. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Thank you. Lana Secos, followed by Holly Lean.
Hi, my name is Lana Secos, and I'm going to keep this real short because I agree with everything that Lisa just said previously. And one other thing that I was kind of surprised about that I read somewhere is this Liberty Land Amusement Park, or whatever it's called, that talked about needing 2,000 employees to run that. And I go to numerous restaurants, you name it, whatever, and the service is just down because they say they can't get workers. And so I just wonder where we're going to get 2,000 more workers. And then also concerned about the increase in property taxes and taxes for the people. So thank you.
Thank you. Holly Lean, followed by Hazel Kegron.
Hello, I'm here just to express my gratitude to the City Council. I've seen you guys over the last few months really dig in and try to understand the TIFs for Liberty Land and the Catalyst project. And I appreciate the opposition and the support. I'm very grateful for you guys listening and trying to understand, so thank you. I also came home, and I have a daughter. Her name is Hazel. She's right here. Last week, and I was explaining to her, and I usually have about 16 kids in my house because we live in a neighborhood with lots of kids, and I was telling them what I was going to plan to do today to show appreciation and gratitude to you public servants that really go through a lot to help this community. And they said, hey, we want to come, and we want to say what we want to say as future citizens. So, Hazel, come on up, if that's okay.
Hi, my name is Hazel. Thank you for your time and voting for Liberty Land and the sports complex. I can't wait for me and my friends to play here all year round and my future kids to have a great place to work and play. Thanks for this, sorry. Thanks for what you do for our city.
Mia Cessna, is that who's up next? All right.
I was nervous coming here today because there are so many important people here. I think Libertyland would be very beneficial for our city. I plan to raise my children here, so not only would I benefit from Libertyland, but for my future children. I also want to work at Libertyland when I'm older, hopefully having my first job at Libertyland. I'd like Libertyland to be a place where I can relax, have fun, while still learning about our city's history. When Holly told me that we were getting Libertyland, I was jumping up and down with excitement. So I hope that you can carry on the excitement and vote for Libertyland. Thank you for voting on Libertyland and the sports complex. Have a great rest of your night. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Abram DeBoer, followed by Pete Lean.
Hi, my name is Abram. Thank you for supporting Libertyland and Sports Complex. I've traveled to Colorado, Nevada, and Orlando for many basketball tournaments. I can't wait to play tournaments in my city. I'm thankful for Libertyland, but not only for myself, but for my own raised children to have fun and make new memories and friends.
Thank you, sir. Pete Lean, followed by Lizette Fuchs.
Thank you. One of the, there are a lot of advantages of going through this process. One of the biggest advantages for me was to get to know the city council members who reached out to ask questions. And I appreciate it was an enjoyable, civil, open-minded process and conversation. And we all didn't get to the same point of agreement, but as you know, I'm third generation in our 82-year-old family business, and you saw Generation 4 and Generation 5. This is important to us. We want to help Rapid City, not challenge it with boondoggles. So we're going to do our level best to make sure everyone in the room here can look back and say, hey, that was a good project, and we're glad we did it. But thank you for the process of allowing me to get to know each of you a little better. I enjoyed that. Thank you.
Thank you. Lizette Fuchs, followed by Hayden Fuchs.
Good evening, Council. Thank you for your time. As somebody who's lived in Rapid City my whole life, I've always talked with all of my friends all the time about what will we do. And we never had anything to do. And it was so annoying because we would just drive around and waste money on gas doing nothing. And we would have loved to have this here. And I know many people would have loved to play sports here. And like everybody else said, we were always traveling for sports, and it would have been nice for us to just stay here. And so many parents wasted so much money on kids traveling when we can just have that coming to us here in Rapid. And I just love that it will help keep children out of trouble because they'll be wanting to go do this instead. And I also love that it's just a fabulous opportunity, and it'll help bring lots of people to come eat at the restaurants here. As somebody who worked at a restaurant here in town, I know they're always struggling when tourism is down and they can't make enough money. So it's going to be amazing so they can make more money. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Hayden Fuchs, followed by Chet Ellsworth.
Well, good evening. Thank you, councilmen and women. Appreciate the time. I'm Hayden Fuchs, here to support the Libertyland TIF. I wanted to speak directly to those who are opposing the Libertyland TIF, not to challenge, but to truly ask why, or I'm sorry, what are you trying to accomplish in saying no? And I've heard and seen concerns about our low unemployment and the rest of the city, but I wanted to take a closer look. First, low unemployment is a sign of strength, but it's not a reason to stop growing. Libertyland brings not just jobs, but career paths, tourism dollars, and long-term economic diversification. Competition helps build wages and compensation around Rapid City for the many citizens here. And it also helps us retain talent and attract new families and businesses. Secondly, the TIF does not take money from our current budget. It doesn't touch existing funding. It uses future property tax revenue generated by the new development, money that would not exist without Libertyland, to pay for the infrastructure needed to support it. If this project doesn't happen, there's no financial loss to the city. On the flip side, without TIFs, incredible world-renowned entertainment developers will look to competing cities that have incentives and are actively trying to attract these entertainment hubs. Without the TIF, we lose the competition of these entertainment draws. Let's be competitive and show these entertainment draws why they should pick Rapid City by being in support of this TIF. So I ask again, for those of you opposed, what are you trying to accomplish by saying no? Let's not let misinformation about TIFs or the fear of change cost us a future full of opportunity. Let's support Liberty Land together and make Rapid City a place where growth is intentional, inclusive, and bold. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Chet Ellsworth, followed by Joel Brannon.
Good evening, Chet Ellsworth. I don't know anybody that wants to turn down an amusement park or fine facilities that all the folks are wanting in this town. But I don't know too many people that want a CD or a data center that's doing A1 owned by a foreign adversary in our city. I want to draw your attention to some of the approval meetings that were done on this thing. I'm against the TIFs. On June 26, 25, the zoning meeting, our mayor, speaking for both Liberty Land and Catalyst, quote, "So we have to work within the confines of what we have in accordance to state law," which is what we are presenting with you today. Nothing we're presenting you today is outside of that. Now, sometimes we in Rapid City, we have to be creative. And then within 24 hours after that meeting that day, after the zoning board approval on 6/26, a strategic infrastructure purchase in Rapid City was executed. The purchasing party is on record of being a controlling interest of the past cyber research organizations and funding, and untransparent issue in both Liberty and Catalyst, as well as the purchaser's access to the state and county assessment certification process. To me, this purchase was likely quid pro quo, resulting in the zoning board approval on 6/26 of Catalyst and Liberty. The determination of that could mean that the purchaser at that time is a confiscatory person, collusive and corruptive in conduct. We're looking at now, who controls that situation when that happened? Who controls it? Is it you? Or do we refer to what what the mayor said was the state law? In my review of the South Dakota Constitution, it says Article 6, Section 1, inherent rights. All men, ... have certain inherent rights, among which are those of enjoying and defending life and liberty, of acquiring and protecting property. This is totally different what the feds say. The feds say you can't have property taxes. We left that. The Revolutionary War, they were taking everything. They were making us all property ourselves.
Thank you, sir. Next up, Joel Brannon, followed by Stacy Huther.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I am the Liberty Land Manager, and I've been before you guys more times than I ever wanted to be. So, but thank you for your patience with me. I honestly don't have a clue what this gentleman is talking about. I don't know where he got his facts, but I can tell you I'm not even sure I don't even know how to respond to this. This is absolutely ridiculous. But what I will say, I don't believe there's ever been a project imagined that didn't come with a bold person being willing to step forward. This project is bold. There's absolutely no question about it. This is a huge opportunity between Liberty Land and the sports complex to be something that this city has never even imagined. Is it risky? Absolutely. But who's taking the risk? It's the developer. We're taking all the risks. You're not giving us anything. You're incentivizing us with the tax increments that will come from the development of this project. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your vision. I appreciate the ones of you who have been very supportive of this, and also appreciate the ones of you who have been in opposition to this. I think we've gone through this in a very professional way. I think we have tried to follow all the rules all the way through this process. And I appreciate your time. I appreciate your patience. And I'm going to take a deep dive and try to understand what the opposition's no is all about. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, Stacy Huther, followed by Brian Titteman.
Good evening. I stand before you tonight as a big proponent of the TIFs. I'm usually here on behalf of the swim team, but tonight I'm just here as a mom and a Rapid City citizen. Several people have worked their tails off trying to make these projects come to fruition, and there's a lot of synergy between the two. When I stood before you on the night of the Vision Fund vote, I urged you to get creative with funding. There simply wasn't enough funds to support all the worthy projects. TIFs are a tool in your toolbox to leverage not only for economic development, but for quality of life projects. Not only the Sports Commission folks, but city staff and several community leaders have done a fantastic job of collaborating and bringing the TIF proposals forward to create a win-win for all involved. Some of you may not have young kids or feel like this doesn't apply to you. I can assure you that youth sports are a big deal. Families often travel several hours to watch their kids play or perform. Many communities across our state and our region have already invested heavily in these facilities, and Rapid City simply is behind the 8 ball. The economic development that arises from these facilities is just the icing on the cake. But let's not forget the citizens that will be using these facilities day in and day out. Now is the time to invest in the citizens in our own community. Let's give them facilities that not only meet our growing demand for such, but also are something that we can all be proud of. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Brian Titteman. Brian, if I mispronounce your name, please correct me. Followed by John Van Beek.
Thank you, Mayor. My name is Brian Tiedemann, and I'm the dad of a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old. Both are athletes, and both have taken their mom and me on trips all over the United States for sporting events. And there's two things that I've noticed in those travels. One is that when you go to other communities, their sporting complexes are phenomenal, and they're well supported. You can feel the collaboration, the community aspect of it, both from the volunteer organization that's putting on the tournament, as well as the city support. And those tournaments go very, very well, and they host them weekend after weekend after weekend because they're efficiently run. Secondly, what we notice is that the parents that we travel with really want to stay in areas that have close proximity to where their kids are going to be playing, but they're also looking for restaurants, shopping, as well as things for the kids to do when they're not competing. So when you look at Liberty Land and the sports complex, you have both in one location, which is very unique. Again, I've been all over the United States doing this, and I can tell you that it is not typical to have all of that in one area, which is going to be a big draw. And I think that that's a really unique fact that we have to keep in mind. Something that's not unique, though, is the TIF. When you look at a community like Sioux Falls, and I'm not suggesting that we strive to be Omaha or Denver or anything like that, but if you look at Sioux Falls, and I'm a West River guy, so this kind of pains me to say, but they do it very, very well. And TIFs have been a part of how they've got there. And if you look at their website, just as of today, they have 11 active TIFs in Sioux Falls. If you look at Omaha, they've had 200 TIFs since 2015. Fort Collins, just last year in their 2024 report, had 50 TIFs. Okay, they're utilizing a tool to help them gain momentum and get things moving so that they can support great events. And you have that opportunity here in a really unique way to use a not so unique tool to get it done. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, John Van Beek, followed by Jim Fian, I think. Looking at the handwriting, hopefully I got it right. Go ahead, John.
Hi there.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. John Van Beek, I'm a civil engineer here in town. Avid 4 Engineering is my company. I was involved in preparation of the application materials for the destination district. And I guess I just want to talk about the process that we've gone through over the past number of years, and really my experience and exposure to Chuck Lean and the big vision that he had 20 years ago when I was a young engineer working on a Rapid City project, Exit 60 and Mall Drive. That connection right there got exposed to the landowner at that time, and what a eye-opening experience for me personally and for Rapid City. The vision that he had and for this land and what it could become was spectacular. Fast forward to 3 years ago, when the Destination District Plan Development Zoning document came through in front of the Planning Commission and the Council and was unanimously approved. It really opened up the opportunity for the flexibility that both the Rapid City Destination District TIF and the Catalyst District TIFs will bring to fruition. Almost as importantly as being here, to support the vision and the projects is, like Brian, I'm a father of two young aspiring athletes that we've hauled all over the western South Dakota all over the country, looking for opportunities to compete. And I think what a wonderful way what a wonderful opportunity to have that here in western South Dakota. And finally, as an employer of young professionals and what they're looking for, the amenities that these two projects would provide together would really is really what we're looking for and what they're looking for as we move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Jem Fian, I believe, is followed by Joe. I want to say Brannon, or starts with a B. So Joe B, get on deck, please.
So thank you.
Yes, sir.
I'm here tonight to speak in favor of the Rapid City Destination District TIF and this associated sports complex. As you all know, the purpose of a TIF is to stimulate economic development in the community by assisting projects that promote the long-term vitality of the community. Both of these projects are generational projects in terms of economic development. I was born and raised here in Rapid City, raised my children here in Rapid City, and I've seen how economic development has not always been welcome in Rapid City over the years. This year is my 50th high school reunion. You'd be interested to know that less than 1/4 of the people that graduated in that class live in Rapid City. That's 100 out of about 450. So those of us that went to college back then knew that there was limited opportunity to come back here and work. I came back only because of other circumstances and wound up working in an industry I originally had no intention of being in, and it was one of my least favorite subjects in engineering subjects in college, but I was home. The job opportunities have improved here over the years with the increasing population, but one of the barriers to attracting today's skilled labor is quality of life, which is defined differently than it was 50 years ago. People want diverse shopping. They want restaurants and entertainment. These projects provide better livability, making the city of Rapid City more attractive to potential residents and employers. 3 of my 4 children, who are all successful young adults with families of their own and who were raised and encouraged not to limit themselves, dream big, and become what it is possible. They don't live here. They don't live in Rapid City. So have we developed Rapid City enough? As far as long-term viability of the community, I think turning a $5,000 per year tax revenue for the city, schools, and county into potentially an $8.5 million tax revenue per year for city, schools, and county is pretty good viability long-term for the community. And that's not counting the additional sales tax revenue potential of $6 to $8 million a year. These projects are generational in their potential for positive health, well-being, and potential growth for Rapid City. The noise I think you hear since the last vote and the passing of the TIF reminds me of those that said we didn't need a civic center. That
Thank you,
they
sir.
were loud. We didn't need a second high school.
Thank you, sir.
They were loud.
Joe, you're up. And Joe, I can hardly read the last name, so if you could pronounce that for me, followed by Karen McNeil.
Thank you, Mayor. No, that's not your fault. I'm horrible at handwriting, so
sorry.
that's on me.
So what's your name?
My name's Joe Brandon.
Right. Oh, I got it right. All right, good.
So, good evening, City Council, members of the public and the community. My name is Joe. I grew up in Rapid City from the ages of 5 years old all the way until I went to college at Auburn University down in Alabama. Since then, I've lived in 3 other states and just recently moved back home. My time outside of South Dakota opened my eyes to what is missing from Rapid and from the western side of the state. And that's both a top-tier sports complex and an attraction for all ages to truly showcase the heritage, culture, and spirit of South Dakota. I was a part of the initial discovery canvassing for Liberty Land. During this process, we were utilized as a think tank to come up with lasting ideas to attract and to best showcase what it is meant to be a true Midwestern American. Those concepts and ideas have never changed throughout this project. It truly captures all walks of life of our community and will make us proud to be a South Dakotan. I support the much-needed sports complex and Liberty Land, the only major attraction that will put Rapid City back on the map. Thank you for your time, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. Next up, Karen McNeil, followed by Stephanie Aline Durso.
Hang on here. Hi, I'm Karen McNeil. I live in Ward 1, so I see 2 of my guys are up here. And I am wanting to talk about the TIFs. And I'd like to start off by a quote that I read in the Rapid City Journal from one of the council people. It says, "I think people like to frame things to fear people, and there's this idea that eventually this project is diverting your taxes like these people are taking your future tax dollars." So that's quoting, saying misinformation and fear. Politicians speak like that when they want to discount you, in my opinion. This is insulting, I think, to the electorate, but I have to attribute this to the youth and inexperience of the council member who said that. My sources for about this TIF document have to do they're from the state of South Dakota. The first one is tax increment financing by the South Dakota Legislature, LRC Research Council, and then the other one is another one from the state, which is tax increment financing by the Department of Revenue. And I'd just like to read a quote from the tax increment financing. It says, "All states allow property taxes as a source of revenue to pay off the TIF district costs." That's from our state legislature. That's like saying, I have my property taxes frozen for 20 years, and the increase in taxes goes to improvements on my property. What a deal. But I wouldn't do this because the burden passes to my neighbors. In California, TIFs were rescinded because they weren't able to show an economic benefit to the community. If the proposal doesn't pencil without a TIF, it doesn't sound like a viable business. You can either believe in the free market or you don't. So what are our remedies if this passes? A referendum by the citizens where will be exposed and voted on by the residents. Most people just want to be left alone, but they will care when they are educated about this issue. Another option is going to the state legislature. They could rescind or modify the existing statute, which they could do, and the next session is a possibility for that. And then another point is, when I was working in industry for over 30 years, we had a thing called a MOBA, Manual of Business Authorities. And that means that if you do not have the signing authority, you can't sign a contract on something if you don't have the signing authority. So this seems like a staggering amount of money. Is there a limit for you guys to approve TIFs? I don't know. It seems like this is a lot of money, and we're just spending it. And my last point is
Ms.
I just...
McNeil, your time's up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Geez, that went quickly.
Stephanie, you're
Thank
up
you.
next, followed by Daryl Merchant.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. Thank you all for your service. My name is Stephanie Lean Durso, and in full disclosure, I am a minority owner in Pete Lean & Sons that's a party to the Liberty Land TIF. I am born and raised in Rapid City, South Dakota, and I'm a mother of 6, and I choose to live and raise my children in Rapid City. So, lots of things come to mind. First of all, gratitude, because we live in a country where people who care can come and assemble and give their free speech opinion. And I think that's a beautiful thing, and my father, Chuck Lean, fought for that, and so many people have fought for us to say that. But I'm also sad, because so many people that are upset about this TIF are my friends, and so many people I have stood shoulder to shoulder. Those are good folks. The people coming forward that are supporting this TIF, they're good folks. And I hate to see good folks go after good folks, because both sides have good intentions. And I'm perplexed, because the folks that are upset about this TIF have a right to be upset about TIFs. However, my question is, the state legislature and our legislative body created the mechanism of a TIF. They created the rules of the game. And people in our community come forward and they follow the rules of the game that were set by our leaders and our state legislators. So I feel perplexed and sad that good members of our community with good intentions to bring good things to our community and help and give back, including Pete Lean & Sons donating the land for the sports complex, Pete Lean & Sons doing donations for Post 320, for fire stations, for all these things that they've done for our community. I'm perplexed that my friends are choosing to go after law-abiding, conscientious, good folks that want to do something good for their community, and they think that's a solution. I don't understand. That's no different in my mind than that beautiful team of girls and the coach that stood up there, and the coach at the beginning of the season says, I'm in charge, I'm your coach, I set the rules, you got to follow the rules, either the rules of the game, and then mid-season, end of the season, he starts benching them. He starts saying, nope, you can't play. I don't like my rules anymore. These are dumb rules, and I don't like my rules. So you're out, and I'm going to punish you good players. So my suggestion to my beautiful friends, good folks, please look for an appropriate
Stephanie,
solution.
your time's up. Daryl, you're up next, followed by Randy Olivier.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak today. First and foremost, I want to thank the mayor and city council and all of those in this room that serve the public, the general public. I'm sure at times it probably feels like a thankless job, and I just wanted to express my appreciation for everything you do. I'm in support of agenda items 21 through 24. My educational background is in economics. I've been involved with business development for a number of years. There's a lot of good points that have been discussed tonight, and so I don't want to necessarily go back through those, but I wanted to say that this particular project will be a catalyst for other economic benefits. Think about education. I'm also a supporter of education, particularly technical education, and we've got some great institutions here that can offer people that educational background. This opportunity could generate jobs, not just for the project itself, but the second, third, and fourth order effects, where we're employing people that work at this facility, we're employing welders, we're employing electricians, healthcare workers, and on and on. And so it's not just this particular project that's going to benefit the community. It's all of those things combined. And that's just something I'd like you to consider, and I appreciate the time tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Randy, you're up next, followed by Jill Aberesk.
Council, Mayor, thanks for having us today. I am for these projects. I want to talk about the TIF a little bit for each. And I'm a commercial broker, not representing the developer or any of the families involved. Been with the Rapid City community all my life, on and off. You know, you move away, you come back, you move away. Just want to say something. This is a couple of people that alluded to their children. I have children that have grown up here. I grew up around Nemo, so I'm here, right? I'm planted. And my kids always want to know, hey, what are we going to do for entertainment? And I think that's true. And to expand on that a little bit is to say, is this a next generation thought process that we're putting together here for our kids? And yes, it is. Certainly I'll enjoy it as much as my kids will, and watching them enjoy it gives me greater joy. And so that's why I support this. And we went to Colorado Springs to see my uncle on the way back through Denver. We stopped in Centennial, which is South Denver, and really felt a great vibe. They've figured it out where they work, live, and play in areas. And I can see this happening. That's exactly what this is bringing. But from a commercial broker standpoint, 13 years now with this, companies will come into a conversation with us. Tom alluded to it a little bit, but they'll say, hey, what do you have for TIFs? What do you have for tax abatements and other incentives? They will skip our state and our region if we say we don't have anything for you guys. They will absolutely skip us. And so the growth perpetuates growth, right? And if you don't like Rapid City now, I was here in '72, really short guy in Nemo. We went through the flood. And Rapid just naturally grows, right? So what are we doing for the next generation? I think that's really what you need to challenge yourself to. The other side of this is I'm involved. I have a School of Mines kid and have gotten to know all the presidents through different chamber and nonprofit things, and had a rocket scientist literally as a client saying, hey, what's there to do here? And I'd love to find a building and put a project together. So that's kind of that industrial science nature, right? And Denver recruited him because they had entertainment for this kid. So I don't think this transcends, the project's incredible. If you haven't looked at it, take a minute, look at it. It honors our area, it honors our history, and I think it transcends the level of just tourism. I think it's way bigger than that. Thank you.
Thank you. Jill, you're up next, followed by Andrew Sabo.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I want to start tonight by saying I am very appreciative for all that Chuck and Barb Lean have done, and Pete Lean and Sons, and now their family, for our Rapid City community, and now their family is continuing on for the community. And they've done this both quietly and openly over the years. My parents and our family have moved to Rapid City 50 years plus ago, and they always spoke very highly of the Lean family and what they did for our community. And so I want to say thanks and extend thanks to them. Tonight, I am speaking for many Rapid City taxpayers not present here this evening. I realize this is a city council meeting conducting city business, but huge tax consequences are looming on the horizon for Rapid City and Pennington County taxpayers with the city's proposed and or recently passed TIFs. The possibility, and I know this is a city council meeting, but the possibility of a school bond and the possibility of expansion of the county jail, all that's on the table. I'm wondering if anyone on the council has tallied up the cumulative tax burden effect to Rapid City residents from the three entities proposing, again, city, school, and county, all converging like rapid waters into a very narrow point. Already stretched, these families and their limited budgets of these many Rapid City people. Anyway, burdening the taxpayer further when the full tax consequence of the 3 boards has not plainly and transparently been laid out to the public, and the public has not been given opportunity for input on increased taxes shouldered by them. Thus, I cannot support. Thank you.
Andrew, you're up next, followed by, looks like Crystal Brannon.
Hi, thanks for letting me speak here. My name, as you said, is Andrew Sabo. I was born and raised here in Rapid. I moved away when I was 18, like a lot of people did, but I came back to raise my son here. And one thing about me moving away is so did all my friends. So none of them had anything to do. And that's a big reason that I'm for the Liberty Land project and the sports complex. Also, being a young father, I want to have a place to take my son. Excuse me. I've taken him to California for theme parks. I've taken him to Florida and spent money there, lots of money. So I'd rather spend that here. One thing that I want to say is Rapid City is a beautiful place to live, so you guys have to be doing something right, you know. You guys get a lot of grief, but you're doing something right. But one thing to note is without growth, cities die. Without growth, grocery stores aren't going to come, businesses aren't going to come, IMAX isn't going to come. So I just think it's a really good idea to push these forward, and that's all I got.
Thank you. Crystal, you're up next, followed by Michael Pogany.
Hello, my name is Crystal, and I came to talk in support of Liberty Land and the sports complex. I grew up here in Rapid City from the age of 10 all the way through college of 22. Then I moved away and ventured other states and everything. While I lived here, I played soccer my entire life. And we had lots of tournaments that we had to go to, but we always had to travel. Rapid City doesn't have anything like the other places that we traveled. They don't have a sports complex where, let alone having an attraction near it for you to do things on the off time. In those other states, I have watched basketball, I've watched soccer, I've watched baseball, and they have beautiful complexes there. We don't have anything like that here in Western South Dakota, especially dedicated to just sports. As a mother who moved back to Rapid City to raise my family, I would love to have my kids growing up playing whatever sport they want. With that being said, it would be nice to have a high-end sports complex to hold tournaments and other sporting events and not always have to travel. I believe that Liberty Land and the sports complex would become a huge attraction and bring a lot more people, revenue, and growth for western side of the state. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Michael, you're up next, followed by Dave Dolan.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Michael Pogany. I'm the General Manager of Electric Operations for Black Hills Energy here in South Dakota. And as the General Manager, I have the honor to work alongside of the hundreds of men and women who work day in and out to power this great city and the surrounding communities. I'm here today to talk to you about the Lang 2 generating station, on which we recently broke ground. Lang 2, right next to the existing Lang generating station, will serve as a critical system resource to cost-effectively serve customers while enhancing electric reliability. Why do we need to do this? Down the street from Lang on Deadwood Avenue is our Ben French generating station. These natural gas and diesel generating units have been powering homes in the Black Hills for over 50 years, and it's getting harder to find parts and more expensive to maintain our equipment. In our recent long-range plan, we determined the need to replace the Ben French generators with modern units that more efficiently support our existing customer needs now and into the future. It's no surprise to anyone that Black Hills Energy is also a supporter of community growth. We have been providing safe and reliable energy to our customers throughout the Black Hills for over 140 years. We partner with schools, nonprofits, local governments, chambers, and economic development organizations to support growth that preserves our way of life and resources, also while providing opportunities for our youth to succeed for our families to grow and for our businesses to thrive. So when we were asked if we could leverage our generation project to increase the tax base for the community improvements, we said yes. Our investment in Lang 2 is more than an investment in infrastructure. It's an investment in our future of the community and our commitment to the region that we call home. Leveraging current development efforts to invest city infrastructure that would not otherwise happen without these projects that we're talking about tonight is a smart and conservative use of tax dollars, tax increment funds. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Coach Dolan, you're up next, followed by Timothy and Amanda Scott.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I appreciate the time. And just full disclosure, I do work for the Sports Commission. I have one of the employees there. But I come to you as basically as a teacher and a coach, a person that traveled across the state, both in the high school ranks as well as for traveling opportunities. I looked at this, and when I took the job at the Sports Commission, I looked at this as an opportunity that we can change Rapid City, an opportunity that we could improve. We could leave things for not only my children, but my grandchildren and their children. I think this is a synergy and a transformational opportunity for us. And when all of a sudden it worked with the sports complex and Liberty Land, it looked like things were coming together. It's a perfect match. They will work well together. One will drive the other. And I don't see anything that would be negative. If we want to answer all the questions as far as the information, we can turn dollars and talk to all of those things. This much dollars, this much dollars. Let's get the facts. Let's let people know what the truth is. This facility will help drive the tourism for decades to come. I thoroughly support both projects. I see before us a vision, and that's kind of what drove me. Is this is a vision, and sometimes visions are not easy to make reality. But I see this as a reality that can happen for Rapid City, and not only Rapid City, but the region of the Black Hills. Thank you, and I fully support both TIFs.
Thank you. Amanda Scott, followed by Troy Fairbanks.
Thank you, and good evening, Mayor and City Council members, each and every single one of you. My husband Timothy is with us. As you guys may remember who know us, I'm the speaker of the two of us, but he is giving me his support and the support for the TID for Destination and Catalyst. I've been on the City Council. I represented Ward 4. Thank you, Lance. And I've been in your chairs. So there's a lot of opinions that you listen to. I also want to thank you for the general comment. It does allow our citizens to come before the City Council and voice their opinions. You do get to hear a lot of opinions. I remember that from those days. But I also know, because I've been in your seat, I know the work you guys do. You have to listen to the opinions, but not everybody out here has done the research. Not everybody out here can tap into the city staff. Rapid City has got one of the AAA city staffs of any city around. They work hard, and they provide good information, and they make really good recommendations. They also are the ones that make sure everybody out here on this side does follow the rules. So if there is a tool that can be used, it's the city staff that makes sure that all the I's are dotted, all the T's are crossed, and then brings it to you. You have the ultimate decision. The burden of having a controlled growth of Rapid City, looking towards the future of Rapid City, rests on your shoulders. Now granted, all of us out here voted for you. And I want to thank you for the service that you've done. And I just want you guys to know, you've got the support of your citizens. Whether they're for or against an issue, everyone out here would not do your job. It takes a special person to do it. So thank you. And please vote in approval of these TIDs and economic development.
Thank you. Next, Troy, you're up, followed by Mark Millar.
City Council, can you hear me? I don't need the microphone.
If you could stand for the sake of record behind the microphone, please. Thank you.
I can do that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Yapi. I come to you in a respectful manner. Leyuha tatanka absipsicha, tioshpayeta tanka yotake, let the koja. Lakolio wagla keo maspilo. I speak my Lakota language, and I said to you, this is who I am. My name is Jumping Buffalo. I'm the 6th generation grandson to Chief Sitting Bull. But I also grew up in Rapid City, was here during the flood. You know, the sports complex is really, really important. You're talking about educational, economical, and industrial revolution, which we need. But let's take this back, way back, and let's look at why the complex is so important. I only got a very short amount of time, so I'm gonna hurry up and through this. If you know anything about the history of South Dakota, you're gonna remember the Spirit of Six. My sister Sandy was the head cheerleader that went down to Sioux Falls, Washington, because they won that award and took it down there. Those girls died in an airplane accident because they had to travel to another complex to have the state tournament. When my sister went down to Sioux Falls, Washington, they won that trophy and brought it home, and it has never left Rapid City since. We need that sports complex. Look at what it could do for our community. Where did that program, what do you call it, Liberty Land? Who did that come from? Does anyone know? You don't. It came from me. It was my ideal. Liberty Land came from me because the importance of being able to have L&I. Oh my God, you ever see Rapid City Christian play against the Indian teams? Oh my God, awesome. Do you ever see the big powwow that we have here? It's going to become the world's largest powwow. The education that we need, the importance for the community is incredible. That's why we pushed for this. They said the Native community never heard about it. Oh, baloney. It came from a Native. It came from me. The Buffalo Dreamers. We talked about the education and the future for this community. Economics is important for our growth. Education for the reservations, for the inner city, for all people. I back this 100% because I'm the one who came up with the ideal. When they asked us, I said, let's look for liberty for everyone. Let's look for Liberty Land. And you know what? You're the only, I got 4 seconds. The city council, you're the only one that ever backed the Treaty of 1868 for the Native people.
Thank you, Mr. Fairbanks. Thank you. Next, Mark Millar, followed by Mike Derby.
How you doing? I'm Mark Millar. I'm here to talk against the TIFs. You're all aware of that. I've been here every day for the last few weeks. I'm a little confused here. I thought at Legal and Finance we went for option 2 on the sports complex, which basically eliminated about $100 million worth of the fat out of that project and brought that TIF down to just the sports complex itself at this point, not leaving the big slush fund of hundreds of millions of dollars setting aside for a possibility of a AI center or whatever else would come along. So I know that the city and the decisions made by the Planning Commission have been brought into legal questions, namely with Monument and Cornerstone Rescue Mission trying to open a home for people to recover leaving the hospital, and that's being fought by a large group of the well-to-do citizens that own the properties on top of the hill. Has that been resolved? Or do we actually have 2 of the members of this community being sued because of the wishy-washiness of the council's actions? I see that again here. I don't support Liberty Land. I could support TIFs. The complex makes perfect sense. I do have one question, because the whole sports complex and the whole sports committee was formed after we built a large outdoor complex close to where this new indoor complex is going to go. And I guess I would ask if somebody could report on how well that did for us. One of the reasons we don't have a big sports complex right now is because the last mayor talked us into spending $200 million on a big golden goose over here across the street. And, you know, at one time they even talked we were going to be able to play football in that building, but that didn't happen. And that building was built to accommodate the handicapped people, and that's a joke because the stadium seating's twice as steep as the old seating. Everybody that comes in here with a dream gets your attention. We had to wait until these questions came up over these TIFs to find out that Mr. Chafee is no longer bringing a $500 million battery factory to Rapid City. That was another huge portion of another TIF, was it not? But when the largest ability for you to make money evaporates, we don't hear about these things. I'm sorry that you people all had to come back here again for the 4th time, the 50th time, I don't give a shit. $58 million worth of the Liberty Land TIF, according to the media,
Mr. Millar,
is
time's
simply
up.
to pay for the interest
Mr. Millar,
on his
Mr.
own
Millar,
money.
Time's up. Thank you. Mr. Derby, you're up, followed by Mike Mueller.
Good evening. Good evening, Council, Mayor. Mike Derby, State Representative, District 34, cover West Rapid City. It's been a long night, so I'm going to go to, and in conclusion, I am in support of tax increment financing and smart growth. I think this meets the definition of smart growth. And for those of you that don't know me, our family moved here 60 years ago. I went to Meadowbrook Grade School, West Junior High, and Stevens High School, and I love Rapid City. And as one of my mentors in the legislature said, Representative Jim Putnam, keep your eye on the ball. This is about the future of our kids and grandkids. Thank you.
Thank you. Mike Mueller, followed by Julie Mueller.
Good evening, Mayor. Thank you for enduring and not curtailing comment. To the council, department lead folks, I would like to echo the Lean family's accomplishments and contributions to the community. It's tremendous, and I'm not sure there's a family that stands above them in that respect. I'm an old Hard Rocker jock, and I remember, I don't have any musical talent, but I think when Alderman Evans was teaching strings over at Stevens, they were talking about all these scholarships that came out of Stevens High School. There were more music scholarships than sports scholarships. I like sports. That's a great thing for kids to stay off the streets and have things to do. But winding back to the campaign trail, property taxes have been the biggest complaint across the campaign trail. Talk to anybody that you yourselves have probably heard the same thing. Legislature this past year, 19 bills to try and correct or reduce or change property taxes. One meager bill passed through. You're in a representative republic and you're representing constituents. Who do you define as your constituent when you vote? I want to just put that on your mind, on your conscience. Is it the taxpayer or is it somebody else? So if the taxpayer is your constituent, please listen to their concerns. Why would we put a heavier tax burden on with this TIF or these TIFs? Last week I heard some stats. 23 homes were lost to tax liens last year in Pennington County. 200 businesses statewide defaulted on their property taxes and let go. Millions of dollars. Somebody's listening and watching the property tax pulse, and it's getting more rapid every day. So I don't know if Lady Gaga has sung here yet, but the Summit Arena was sold because we needed acts like Lady Gaga to be here. I don't remember seeing or knowing that she's been here, but are we being sold something that's maybe glorious in vision, but is it really essential for the property taxes that are going to be burdened to your folks? Thanks.
All right, you're up next, Julie, and our final speaker request will be Scott Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the committee. I have spoken 2 other times on this, so you all know where I stand. I am in total agreement with Senator Taffy Howard and Tanchi Weaver, but I too have a conflict because we're friends with the Lean family, and they are a wonderful family. Stephanie has been amazing with a lot of us political people. Sam and I are Yeah, our kids dated. So, I mean, they're a wonderful family. And it is really uncomfortable to be here. But on the other hand, I get calls saying, Julie, I can't afford my property taxes. What are you guys doing? What are you doing? I said, every bill they bring can get modified. Bills aren't anything. That's why Mike and I are doing what we're doing. But again, if you got calls like a lot of us do, and a lot of people don't know that I'm not in the legislature right now, they want help. They can't afford it. They're in their 70s and 80s and lived in their home forever, and now this is going to add a burden to them. And how is that fair? I mean, and there's another person in the room here. It's big. There's quite a few in here on economic development and public-private partnerships. I've never, ever wanted to support public-private partnerships because I don't believe it's a taxpayer's responsibility to fund those. I think if you have a great idea, my dad raised us like this. If you have a great idea, you find your own investors and you go put your own blood, sweat, and tears in it, and if it fails, it's because you failed. But if something fails, I think Senator Howard had looked up, how many people actually followed through and finished paying off their TIFs, if they claimed bankruptcy. Taffy had that information, and I think she also had information that 70% of these still go through even if you don't apply, give them the TIF. The TIFs are being looked at by the legislature, and that was talked about here in Rapid when they were at the School of Mines, because they are being abused. Yes, Stephanie's right, it's in the rules, but they added for the infrastructure. They added that last part. So to me, and it's not their fault, but to me it's socialism when we're paying for infrastructure of people's homes, because there's homes part of this and different things. If people don't understand it, I'm sorry, it takes a while to understand. But it's not our job to put in infrastructure for other people's homes. We got our own bills. We got our own insurance. We got our own property taxes. We have our own things to worry about. Kids to put in college if you want to do that. And then I wanted to know if you guys have gotten a fiscal note on any of this stuff. Also, have you spoke to any of the tourist businesses? Because, if they're coming in and their money is helping fund potentially their competition, have you talked to any of them? And a lot of people say, do you know how much it's going to cost to go into Liberty Land? Because will it be like Disney World?
Ms. Beeler, your time's up.
Okay, and
Thank
Mr.
you.
Mayor, I would like to say,
Scott Edwards is up.
No, but this is to you. When I got clapped for, after I spoke last time, a lot of the audience clapped. You shut it down immediately.
I tried to do that with several folks tonight.
You haven't, we haven't heard you do that at all. I just wanted you to know, I know you're in favor of this, but I thought it was a double standard tonight. Sorry.
You can stand over here. Good evening, everybody. I want to say my name is Scott Edwards. I was born and raised in Rapid City resident. My parents moved here in 1970-ish, plus or minus. I was listening to this on Facebook as I was home. I took my son Jackson to swim lessons tonight. So I was watching it, and when I went and picked him up, I was still watching it, talking to me about democracy and civil liberty and things that we can do as a community to talk about whether we're opposed or in agreement with certain things, and we get to exercise our opportunity to have those discussions. I am here in support of the two TIFs tonight. I kind of come from I guess I would say a little different view of economic development. I moved away when I was out of college, just like many people did. My sister does not live here. I think it's very important for the young people to have a reason to stay here. I think that, I want my son Jackson to be able to go to college and come back here and start a family, rather than having to move away to Denver or Salt Lake and then come back if they want, when jobs may be present. I think that these opportunities are really great for the city of Rapid City. One of the reasons that I didn't come back after college was job opportunities. If we want job opportunities, we have to have reasons for kids to stay here. We have to have reasons for people to grow and develop our community. With these TIFs and the future development, it's not only about what Jackson's going to see in his lifetime, but it will be the immediate impact. Jobs, construction jobs, retail jobs, those things that keep money in our economy. Those are the things that will grow our community. Those are the things that will put money in to be able to fix the roads, bring the stores that we want. I was talking to my mom over dinner. She's 78, a little cantankerous at times. I hope she's not watching. But we got into a great big discussion about TIFs, and all she could say is, we need better stores and we need better roads. And I tried to explain to her that if we want those things for our community, the city that we all grew up in, the city that we love, there has to be growth. We typically don't like growth. Rapid City has always been growth negative since I was even a kid. But for us to be able to have the things that we want, growth has to happen. And these programs and the people that are being behind these jobs and these developments have the best thing in mind for Rapid City. And I think we need to all support it. Look at things for Jackson, for your grandkids, for my future grandkids that I don't even have yet. This is something that will continue to foster Rapid City, bring stores, bring better roads. We all know that more money helps us all. So that's all I had. I hope everybody has a really good night. It was great to watch us on Facebook and see all the people coming in and out, opposing or supporting. I think it's great. Democracy is wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Please, no clapping. Mr. Shaffey, I see that you just walked in. Did you need to present on your item as well? I had a note that you're doing a special presentation on your item. I think that falls into this.
If you're not falling
block.
asleep, I will be more than happy to. If you have time, I'll take 4 minutes of your time.
Okay.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members, and I'm glad you had this discussion about TIFs. You know, if it was not for TIFs, a lot of our infrastructure will be going really downhill really fast. You know, Fifth Street would have never been happened, would have never been built. Walmart in the south side would have never been built. Neither would Courage Hills will have enough fire flow to help protect their homes if it was not for TIFs. We're currently involved with the Black Hills Industrial Center, which is an industrial park that consists of approximately 700 acres. Somebody mentioned, you know, about the battery plant. We were not bringing the battery plant into town. We were asked to help bring the battery plant into town, and we were not the leaders in bringing it in. Next slide, please. I don't know if I could run this. You know, this plan was actually, we were involved with Ellsworth Authority after the B-21 were announced, and we were asked to do the Liberty Plaza shopping development to provide for a community center to train our Air Force personnel in a community center. And after we started the project, there was some discussion by the governor's office to do an industrial area close to the base. Unfortunately, there was not adequate land to do so. You know, we identified a piece of ground right across from the landfill, and that was identified to the governor's office in January 26, 2021. Some of the folks that were at that meeting are in audience tonight. And we did not own the land, but that site was chosen because number one, the state has invested a lot of money into Sioux Falls Industrial Park, which is called Foundation Park. That park is about 800 acres. It started with phase one, which is 400 acres. And that park was started for a Bridgestone Tire, which was trying to put a plant in Sioux Falls. None of that materialized, but there are several businesses that impact the Sioux Falls economy and the state's economy that have located since then into that park. That park is about 14 years old, and it has few businesses that have finished up the first 400 acres, and they're about to go into the second phase. Why is the Black Hills Industrial Center site chosen? Number one, the availability of power. There are two grid systems in the United States, the Eastern Grid and the Western Grid for power. And they have 7 sites for connecting those two grids. One of them is located right next to the Black Hills Industrial Center. Number two, there is the availability of the transportation, which is basically the Heartland Express and Catherine Boulevard that exist in that area, providing access to major highways which connect south to Denver and north all the way to Canada. And then the existence of the rail, There is rail next door, and we have approved plans from the railroad to connect this site to rail. And then, of course, the future land use plan for the city has identified this as the largest contiguous piece of ground for use as heavy and light industrial. Any development takes a lot of time and takes a lot of activities. You could see on this, from the dates that we started till now. The battery plant that we started with, it was based on an announcement that the governor has made. I think it was on, I think I have the dates, and it's in there too, but I cannot see it from here. I'm getting too old. That site was, the governor has made an announcement in a conference in San Diego that a battery plant with a new technology, nickel zinc technology, was to be located in South Dakota. And we were asked to identify a site and if we can develop the site. We proceeded. That announcement happened on September 23rd, 2021. We purchased the property on December 30th, and we have started right away by doing a traffic analysis. There are several activities. That traffic analysis took a long time, and there are several activities that happened since then. As far as the park itself, this was the original master plan, and it was to incorporate several businesses, with some of them with rail access. That master plan has changed due to the fact that the state did not grant us a second access or a second traffic signal at the new location at about half a mile south of Old Folsom Road, or half a mile south of the entrance to the landfill. So therefore, we worked with city staff to identify the landfill location to be the signalized intersection and eliminating the south intersection. To provide access to the park, we changed the layout of the roads, and these improvements were incorporated in a TIF. That TIF included bringing a high-pressure water line from Walmart all the way to the forest products. Currently, there is inadequate or lack of fire protection, and this line will provide the fire protection. This TIF also included widening of Old Folsom Road and incorporating a traffic signal right at the entrance to the landfill. The city is not funding any of the TIF. We are funding all the improvements included in the TIF, so there is no money that the city is putting up. We are at risk, even though some of the improvements are not just needed by us, but needed for other regional developments, including the landfill. There are the costs. We itemize the cost and we account for them, and there is a certification process to ensure that all money is handled in a manner that is transparent to the public and acted on and approved by city staff and acted on by the city council. I'm not going to go through all the numbers. I'm here to answer any questions, and I really thank you for all you're doing. And TIFs have bad names, even though they really don't increase the taxes as much as people perceive, or they don't increase taxes at all in my mind. And the reason I say that, there are 90 TIFs that are on the city approved TIF system. There are about 15 of them that are active. If the 90 TIFs have increased the real estate taxes for our citizens, we would all be broke. And those TIFs, when they get paid, especially for projects that don't have a chance of existing, like Rushmore Crossing, which generate a lot of taxes, or the Walmart in the south side of town. If these projects did not happen, the sales tax will not be captured. And once the TIFs are paid off, which these properties generate a lot of taxes, the property taxes go back in the tax roll. A lot of TIFs are not paid in 20 years. We have been involved in quite a few TIFs. Some of them took 5 years to be paid off, and they went in the tax roll, generating a lot of taxes and actually reducing the mill levy for the rest of the taxpayers, because state law prevents the counties of just increasing the tax. the taxes and increasing their budgets. They increase their budget by a state law to reflect the cost of living or the CIP or the growth of the community. A lot of times, those taxes, that, especially those that are generated by commercial properties or industrial properties, they have way exceeded the amount of growth that is happening in the rest of the community, generating a lot of sales tax and generating real estate taxes. Therefore, once they go in the tax roll, like Rushmore Crossing did, they end up in a reduction in the mill levy for everybody in the county. Thank you, and I welcome any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll keep that in mind when we get to your item. So that closes the comment period. We will move on to item 14. First reading of ordinance number 6683, an ordinance amending section 17.06 of the Rapid City Municipal Code. A request by TUI Design Group for Watershed Development 2 LLC for rezoning request from low-density residential district 2 to public district for property generally described as being located at 5430 Wind River Road. And a motion by Lehman, a second by Maher. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 15. First reading of ordinance number 6684, an ordinance amending section 17.06 of the Rapid City Municipal Code. A request by Avid4 Engineering, Inc. for Black Hills Corp. for rezoning request from General Agricultural District to Light Industrial District for property generally described as being located northeast of the intersection of Deadwood Avenue and Tatanka Road. Motion by Sechrist, second by Maher. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 16, first reading of ordinance number 6690, an ordinance amending the Rapid City Municipal Code to create the Business Improvement District number 2 by adding chapter 3.29 to the Rapid City Municipal Code. Motion by Stroman with a second by Sechrist. And Councilman Meyer, you're in the queue.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just wanting to note that I will be abstaining from item 16.
Duly noted. So the motion on the floor is to approve. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries with one abstention from Councilor Meyer. Item 17, second reading of ordinance number 6685, an ordinance amending the Rapid City Municipal Code to prohibit the purchase, sale, or offering for sale of tianeptine, and related products by adding chapter 8.54 to the Rapid City Municipal Code. All right. Motion by Tamang with a second by Bieberdorf. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 18, authorize Mayor and Finance Director to sign Amendment Number 1 to the Memorandum of Understanding for Alternate Fuel Landfill Diversion Program Evaluation, Project Number 2803 and CIP Number 51424. This item was continued from the August 18th City Council meeting. Motion by Sechrist with a second by Evans. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Item 19. Approve the Memorandum of Understanding with Elevate regarding the Opportunity Capture Fund. Motion by Tamang with a second by Sechrist. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes with one no from Pettigrew. Item 20, resolution number 2025-092, a resolution approving amendment number 1 to the project plan for Black Hills Industrial Center Tax Increment District number 86. Okay, we got a motion by Lehman with a second by Evans to approve. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 21, resolution number 2025-098, a resolution creating Rapid City Destination Tax Increments Financing District. Councilor Maher, you're on the floor.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to address some facts about TIFs that have not been brought up tonight or anywhere else recently. And Karen McNeil, I think at the end of her public comment, she asked the question, what's the limit? So that's what I want to talk about. State law allows a city or a county to issue TIFs, tax increment financing, for up to 10% of the assessed taxable value of the property in that city. So for Rapid City, in 2024, the taxable property in Rapid City was appraised at $10.1 billion, okay? A lot of money. So The state law says that the city can TIF up to 10% of that amount. So state law allows us to do $1.1 billion in TIFs. So that's the capacity that we've been given by the state. Now we have no intention to go anywhere near that. So in 2025, we're using those taxes from the last year. We can, with these two TIFs that being approved, that would take us to 2.48%. So with these two TIFs, we're still less than 25% of our capacity. It's been brought up tonight or several times that these amounts are absurd, that they're high. Well, yeah, they are high, but we've had inflation. So if we were to approve these, we're going to be at 2.48% of our ability to tax out of the 10%. If you go back to 2021, the rate of TIFs that we had issued by the city council was just over 3%. So we're 50 basis points below that. If you go back to 2016, we had just 3% of that limit was being used. So the percentage of TIFs is low. Did you call me? Oh, I thought you. So I would just like to close by saying that, you know, we keep hearing that. We don't keep hearing it. We've heard it, and I just want to kind of address that. We're not abusing TIFs in Rapid City. We have Aberdeen has more TIFs than Rapid City. Watertown has more TIFs than Rapid City. Sioux Falls has more TIFs, which you would expect, than Rapid City. And we also hear that we rubber stamp everything. We don't. The city staff declined 8 TIF requests this year alone. They never went to planning. Those people that brought those TIF applications in were told no. So we don't approve them all. And I will just close by saying, you know, these are great TIFs. I support both of them. I think it was Visit Rapid City had a marketing campaign, said let's do big things. Let's do a big thing. Let's pass both of these and do big things for our kids. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Councilor Maher. Or excuse me, not Maher, Evans. Not to be easily confused.
Yeah, but thank you, Councilor Maher, for that very eloquent explanation, because that needs to be said, and I think you made it quite clear. I mean, the reality is, without these TIFs, the property taxes by the average homeowner would be a lot higher, because we don't have what Sioux Falls have. We don't have these Amazon centers. We don't have these banking processing centers. We're trying to get more of that, which will help ultimately reduce the individual property tax homeowners' chunk of what they pay. And I heard a couple people get up here tonight and speak about kind of the brain drain that has happened in Rapid City. And that is, if you remember why I ran 6 years ago in the first place, that was the big reason. I spent 40 years of my life teaching these wonderful kids who went off to places, great universities like Harvard, Stanford, Minnesota, Illinois. You know, they never came back because there wasn't an opportunity for them. And as I saw a few of them get up tonight and speak, I saw Hayden and I saw Lizette and I saw Scott get up. I started these kids in 4th grade, believe it or not. Now they're kind of old. But I remember what I wrote in the curriculum when we started getting this string program going, which grew from 60 kids to 1,400 over my 40-year period. The preamble to our curriculum read something like, children are innately musical, and we cannot leave them subject to peer influence, media influences, and happenstance, because we need to show them the great music. And so we did, and it worked. And I see this project that the Leans are proposing as being a great project that's going to give us the right kind of growth for the future. And originally, if you followed, I don't pass every TIF. It's, you know, some people up here think I'm kind of cheap. But I wasn't initially in support of this because I was sort of ignorant as to what it was. I think the name Liberty Land, and I think that the name or the the moniker that's put with amusement park is distorted what it really is. I think the destination is a better way to do it, and I think that's what our increment district is called, because it really is a destination. And I think what they're proposing is wonderful, and my mind was completely flipped when I did the research and saw what was being proposed here. And I assure you that if this does happen, and I hope it will, because this family seems to be convicted, I think everybody is going to be really, really in love with what the result is ultimately. So I completely changed my mind, and I am in complete support of it now. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Councilor Sechrist.
I snuck in there. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to chime in and just say thank you for all the citizen input. The public comments are really meaningful, and I know that this is an item we've heard a few times now, so really appreciate everybody who came and spoke in opposition and in support of this project and the sports complex. I'm going to remain strong with where I've been. I've done the work in this. I understand the projects. This, in my mind, is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. This is big vision. This is a family dedicated to our community, reinvesting in our community. And I just think the entertainment aspect, the housing aspect, all the components of this project are just going to be so meaningful long-term. And I'm also a mother, and wanting to keep my children here is important to me, to have the opportunities for them here, and the entertainment piece being so critical. This is not an amusement park. There are 2 outside features that are included in this project. I believe a Ferris wheel is one of those. There will be no admittance fee to come to the park. You're welcome to, as a citizen, pull up to the park and walk around. If you would like to choose to ride the Ferris wheel in this destination area, zoning area, you can certainly do so at a cost. But all citizens are going to be able to access this facility. I have asked a lot of questions and spent a lot of time to understand this project, and I'll be supporting this and the sports complex, and just truly believe in the work that's being done here. And thank you to those that had to go through this process twice. It's a long, strenuous process once, but to do it twice is a lift. So thank you for that. I yield.
Thank you. Next, Callie Meyer. Councilor Meyer.
Thank you. One housekeeping item, and I wish the individual who made the comment had stayed, or we can follow up later, but I do agree on the road improvement piece. It probably does look in a vacuum very tone deaf when the city is like, yes, let's put in some more infrastructure, new roads, when we do have things falling apart. For me, I see this as an opportunity to build up our capital improvement fund. The way it's funded is through sales tax. You need a really big sales tax generator to build that fund up. Let's think of Rushmore Crossing. So I just wanted to recognize that. I do see that, but I think this is a strategy to do more projects. The next thing I want to say is I do not speak on behalf of my entire age demographic by any means. I honestly wish more of these people who came, I'm like, if you want to run for office, maybe have some additional perspective, because I don't speak on behalf of everyone, but I can say it feels hard to be in the younger generation. I mean, we look at housing and jobs, and I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever retire, and so I look at these projects and I'm like, hey, is this an opportunity? Maybe we can have a little joy, a little reprieve from the hardships of existing, and you don't think that having someone go to a movie theater is gonna get you hate mail, but I just wanted to mention that that I think this is an opportunity to have a little reprieve from the heaviness. Another thing I want to say, I apologize if there was some insinuation that I think older demographics voice doesn't matter, and I think I got heated up last week. I'm much calmer today, but I think where I get passionate with it is we really don't have some of these younger demographics at the table, and we need people to say, hey, this is why we need more people, running, because we need more representation at the table. Because we need, I absolutely value, we need every age range represented. And so truly, if that was insinuation, I apologize, but I don't apologize for trying to advocate for younger generations. Just to follow up, I did make some comments last week about, if this gets referred to a general ballot. My concern really is, if we want the general consensus of the community, is that the best way to go? It was a philosophical question. But I think as I'm sitting here tonight, there's an issue with voter turnout, voter engagement, and maybe this is an opportunity to work together on voter engagement. So I just have concerns that, a low voter turnout isn't really a representation, but I respect Citizen Weaver's comments about, those who show up, shape the future, and maybe there's an opportunity we can work on helping those people show up. At the end of the day, we all just want what's right for Rapid City. I don't think we all agree. And I think it's hard to sit in the seat and not become callous to some of the anger that's thrown your way, but I just want to commit that I'm going to wake up and keep choosing positive intent, working towards the best version of Rapid City, and I think part of that is approving this project. I've done probably 80 plus hours in the last 8 weeks of research on top of like a full-time job on this, and this is a big, meaty project, and so thanks to the staff and then all the people who have reached out. I'm very appreciative of the discourse and everyone who's been willing to have a conversation. But even at the end of the day, I think after that, I haven't found anything that's different where my vote would change from when we voted on this last time, so I will be supporting both of these projects this evening. I yield.
Thank you. Next, Councilor Bieberdorf.
Thanks. I'll keep it real short. This has been a really tough process. Listening to a lot of negative stuff, but the decision for me is really easy. And I think that when I hear both sides, I know as Stephanie talked about, a lot of people that were opponents are great people that have worked in the community on a lot of different projects. So it is hard on the process side. And I think what people don't like is the game. But the people that brought these projects forward have went by every rule of the game, and they've played by the rules, and they've had to play by the rules twice. So I applaud everybody that's jumped that hoop twice. So I'm in support of it. I think private partnerships like this and public partnerships are great. It is one of the only tools we have in Rapid City to move these projects forward. And I truly believe it's a generational project, and my vote is continue to be supportive of it.
Thank you. Next, Councilor Stroman.
Thank you, Mayor. There isn't much else to be said. I also will be voting in favor of these projects. I did want to follow up on one thing that Councilor Meyer said. She's one of the new members of the council along with Dr. Tamang, and they bring a new perspective, a high degree of intelligence, and energy and hard work to this council like I haven't seen in a long time. We really value those people, those new people on our council, and I applaud them for sticking their necks out and running. And even if I don't agree with them on everything, boy, it sure is refreshing to have their viewpoint. And so I just defend their decision to put it out there. They got elected like everybody else had to, and they make tremendous contributions to this council every week. And so I just appreciate both Stephen and Callie and for what they've done in such a short time on the council. I yield.
Very nice. Okay. Good comments. Stand by. Item 20, resolution number 2025-098, a resolution creating Rapid City Destination Tax Increment Financing District. I'm looking for a motion. Okay, we got a motion by Evans with a second by Maher to approve. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No. Motion passes with a no from Tamang and Pettigrew. Item 21. Excuse me. That was item 21. Item 22. Resolution number 2025-099, a resolution approving the project plan for Rapid City Destination. Second. Motion by Lehman with a second by Bieberdorf. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Aye. Motion passes with 2 noes from Tamang and Pettigrew. Item 23, resolution number 2025-100, a resolution creating Rapid City Catalyst District Tax Increment Financing District. Motion by Stroman, with a second by Bieberdorf. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Aye. Motion carries with 1 no from Pettigrew. Item 24, Resolution number 2025-101, a resolution approving the project plan for the Rapid City Catalyst District. Councilor Evans, the floor is yours.
I just want to mention that I'm supportive of the plan. I'm supportive of the TIF. I'm still opposed to some of the financing that came along with the vision funds. And I'm never going to change on that one. I just want to reinforce that little point. Thank you.
Council, if I may, a brief explanation on this. So this one caused a little confusion because it seemed to have changed a little bit from the previous round, and just for the sake of edification and education. I very much, of course, support the sports complex. When we drew the boundary, we discovered through the state that we had to, hey, you need to put the whole plan that potentially could be in this entire district together. So our staff tried to take in input they'd heard over the last months. Couple things I might like, couple I don't particularly care for, but they were trying to take in a lot of that and put it into a plan in a rush. I think the intentions are, we don't know if the future projects would happen, and so they broke it into phase 1, 2, and 3. Phase 1 would be the sports complex of that we do know, which is really contingent upon the Black Hills Energy Project. 2, there was some potential that if there's future development because of the Black Hills Energy Project, and we don't have confirmation of that, so I don't want to speculate, but if there is, could we capture that for some infrastructure improvements? That would be phase 2. And then phase 3 were a bunch of different projects, from expansions at the Roosevelt to cover the swimming pool, maybe put in pickleball courts or senior center or something. These are things that would have been determined way down the road. A bridge connecting Memorial Park to downtown. Not saying that's going to happen. I don't particularly care for the price tag, but the idea is okay. There were some other ideas too. And I just wanted to make sure I told the council, so I wrote an official letter, just say, hey, just so you know, my opinion was phase 2, where you definitely go after the thing we need to keep our eye on, which is a sports complex, but leaves possibilities open in the future. So even though the staff tried to very quickly put some things together, that was by no means trying to ram anything. They were trying to throw the ideas that they had heard that we aren't even deciding today, because those would change and have future decisions to be made. So I want to credit the staff for trying to quickly put that together. I wish I'd even been out in front. A lot of that was happening while I was in Sioux Falls doing some work with the opioid settlement stuff. And so by the time I got back, I didn't have enough chance to really weigh in on that. So I want to apologize that got out ahead. There's nothing to hide. Those are just some ideas for the future, maybe. But I just want to say this. My hope was that we would really just kind of focus in on the sports complex, because it's the one thing that's right in front of us. But I wanted to explain. I thought the community needed to hear some sort of explanation for why that number looked bigger and smaller. And I'm welcome to answer any questions on that. But thank you for allowing me the opportunity to share a little bit. It looks like Councilor Stroman would like to weigh in.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll take you up on the question.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, I'm with you. It's imperative to me that we pass the sports complex portion, which is phase 1.
Yep.
But so why is phase 2 in here, or what are we doing with respect to phase 2 in this particular vote?
Thank you, sir. So with the boundary being the way it is, it was written as a boundary that the future, and I thought probably after my time as mayor even, that would be opportunity for down the road. But phase 2, if there are infrastructure improvements, especially around the Deadwood Avenue area, that's road, water, sewer stuff, that you're allowing for that. But here's the deal. We cannot have a project plan amendment, so we're approving a project plan. It can only go up 35% of what we approved tonight. And so in my mind, what we're doing is we're saying we'll approve any infrastructure improvements, but any future amendments that are above and beyond that have to be within that 35% of the value, kind of like we did with the amendment tonight. That would be future decisions that this or future councils and city staff and mayors would have to contend with. So it leaves open the possibility, and knowing that that's pretty basic stuff, where things like the swim center or a bridge or some things like that are going to need its own community conversations and input before we ever even consider it. but we would have that capacity at 35% above and beyond for a future amendment. So that's why I recommended that we at least allowed for that basic infrastructure in phase 2. That's just, now obviously it's a recommendation. Your council, you will make that decision at the end of the day, and I'll sign, whatever you decide. But that was, I think, essentially, and the finance director, if I incorrectly stated any of that, please let me know. Is
Thank
that
you.
good? All right, thank you. Councilor Pettigrew?
Thank you, Jason. I supported item number 24, the first reading, or the first time we considered it. I believe when Black Hills Energy turns that power plant on, money's going to start rolling in. And I support the Catalyst District, but I can't support it this time. The second go around by adding phases 2 and 3, it's just, it looks like to me we're greedy and we're trying to do more than the original phase. So I cannot support voting in favor of this on the second time.
Councilor Sechrist.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. If I may ask a question of our finance director, Mr. Ainsley, just to clarify what phase 2 is including. I think perhaps that's what we were looking for, a little bit of a better description of what phase 2 includes for the project fund.
Finance Director Daniel Ainsley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Phase 2 includes the funding that would be necessary, $9 million for water as well as water reclamation, utility services to the North Deadwood Avenue area. That would be for any future development there. That's an ideal area for future development in our community. That's been hampered, though, because there are not utility services right now in that area. In addition, there's $15 million for additional funding for the sports complex that would only be used if necessary to actually construct the complex. And I think it's important to note that both the $9 million for the utilities as well as the $15 million for the sports complex would only come into play if there's development next to the Black Hills the Black Hills Energy's Lane 2 substation, if there's additional development besides that. And so it's just laying the groundwork for that. Why that's important is because if you do not approve that, then in order to establish another TIF to bring in the utilities to that area, the underlying TIF would have to be fully paid first before any increment can be generated for the utilities.
Thank you for that explanation. I just wanted to clarify the request of that phase 2 and this parcel being a rather critical component to the phase 1. I'm going to support phase 1 and 2 of this particular application. I think phase 3 is really, really big vision and a little bit far out and not having enough defined of a project plan. I think there's some wonderful components of that part of this project proposal, but that scaling this back would be more financially prudent for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Councilor Maher.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to make a motion that we approve phase 1 and 2.
Okay, the motion on the floor is to approve phase 1 and 2 by Maher, the second by Sechrist. The floor is yours. Or did you want to say anything else? Okay. So that's the floor on the table, or that's the decision on the table, and it's a game-changing decision. So all in favor of approving phases 1 and 2 as presented by the finance director tonight, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Aye. All right, motion passes with 1 no from Pettigrew. Excuse me. Thank you, everybody. Item 25. Resolution number 2025-106, a resolution of intent to take the statutorily authorized increase in property tax revenue as part of the annual appropriation ordinance for 2026.
Move to approve.
Motion by Evans with a second by Maher to approve. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes with a no from Pettigrew, Tamang, and Lehman. So 3 noes, Lehman, Tamang, and Pettigrew. Duly noted. Item 26, second reading and recommendation of ordinance number 6686, an ordinance regarding FY26 appropriation. This was sent to council without recommendation. Councilor Lehman.
Thank you, Mayor. I was just going to defer to the city attorney on how to handle this item since we didn't close it out.
Thank you, sir. City Attorney Joel Andine.
I would ask that the council make a motion to continue second reading to the September 15th council meeting to incorporate the changes made at the special council meeting earlier this evening.
All right, motion by Lehman, second by Stroman to continue to the September 15th City Council meeting. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, everyone. That'll take us to public hearing items 27 through 30, and we will open the public hearing for items 27 through 30. I have no speaker request forms, so we will close the public hearing and move on to consent public hearing items 27 through 29. Would the council like to approve these items? Motion by Maher, second by Bieberdorf to approve items 27 through 29. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. That takes us to the end of the consent public hearing calendar. We will now move on to non-consent public hearing item number 30, resolution number 2025-086, amendment to the comprehensive plan to revise the major street plan by adding a proposed collector street. And the recommendation is to continue this to the September 15th City Council meeting per applicant's request.
Move to continue.
All right. Motion by Evans, second by Bieberdorf to continue to the September 15th council meeting. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we're going to go to the bill list. With that, we're going to go to Finance Director Daniel Ainsley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For item 31, the total bill list for Main Street Square is $28,000, and for Visit Rapid City is $80,481.27.
Do you have a motion to approve? Motion by Secret, second by Evans. Councilor Meyer?
Just want to note, I'll abstain from 31.
Duly noted. Councilor Meyer is abstaining. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes with one abstention from Meyer. Item 32, with that, we're going back to the Finance Director.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The remaining bills total $13,412,619.54.
Motion by Secret, second by Meyer to approve. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Do we have a motion to adjourn? Motion by Bieberdorf, second by Maher. All in favor? Any opposed? We're adjourned. Thanks, everyone.